feet tall, I guess I'll elevate myself a little so you can all see me better, so you know who's speaking. All right, so good morning again, and thank you for being here. My name is Jenna, and I am one of the administrators for one of the largest medical freedom groups in Arizona, the Arizona Coalition for Medical Freedom. The group who organized today's event. I'm also a healthcare provider and a very strong advocate for health and medical freedom in my field. First, again, I want to thank Kelsey, the founder of the coalition, for planning, yes, fighting for what we have all been called to defend. The one commonality that we all have is freedom. Freedom to choose. The most basic human right, the foundation of all freedoms, is the sovereignty of one's own body. It is and should remain our God-given constitutional right to freedom of choice when it comes to declining any medical procedure, including vaccines. We are here today to fight for and defend that freedom, to ensure that no corporation, no state, and no government takes that from us. I am honored to stand with today's speakers, each a champion for the Constitution and for the people. May God continue to be with us as we press on fighting the good fight to protect liberty, past, present, and future. I would like to formally welcome you all to the Liberty Revolution. The first speaker that we have today is Senator Kelly Townsend. Senator Townsend? Senator Townsend is a state representative and a strong voice for the people. She is not afraid to speak out when she sees an injustice, and she works tirelessly within the state to ensure that the people are protected and heard. I am now proud to welcome Senator Townsend as our first speaker of the day.
I am not getting up on that. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, I like to do the opposite. I don't like to elevate myself above you guys. I don't like to try and take a higher position. I am actually lower than the people I serve. You are my boss. So with that in mind, I want to invite a few of you up here. I usually do this as my new thing, my new shtick. All right, veterans, raise your hand. Thank you for your service. Come up here and join me, please, now. Lester, right here, front and center. Come on up. Come on up. Come on, Lester, behind me. Come on, guys, I know there's more of y'all out there. Veterans, front and center. Time for muster. All right, if you are a parent of a vaccine-injured child, raise your hand. All parents of vaccine-injured children, come up and join me here, please. Real quick, come on up. Okay, I got a 2-point presentation this morning. This is completely off the cuff. I have not planned this speech. I have not, other than asking God to fill my mouth what He wants me to say, I feel led to say 2 things. 2 reasons why I fight for you. 1, I am a mother of a vaccine-injured child. This is my daughter, Elizabeth. She's 24. Everybody say hi to Elizabeth. And I am also a veteran, just like these here who are with me. All right, show of hands. How many veterans feel that their oath expired when they got out? Not one. Right? How many of you are prepared to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic? Thank you. Thank you. That means something to us, and it also means something to the left. It means that we are somehow domestic terrorists because we are wanting to protect the country that gave us the right to have freedom, brings people into our country illegally that are desperate to come here. They're not running from this country, they're running to this country. Why? Because of the Constitution, because of our freedoms, not because of tyranny, not because of fascism. But we seem to have found fascism here, have we not? Is the government not using corporations to enact what they cannot do legally? The government is consulting with business owners and getting them to force the vaccines on you because they cannot, and they know they cannot, and they are on record saying they cannot do that to you. So what does that make that? Fascism. This Biden administration is fascist. Where is Antifa? Now, I joked with a friend last night and I said I should dress up in Antifa garb because I'm against fascism. So I tried. I just couldn't get myself to do it all the way, you know. And I don't have a black hoodie yet, but I might need to go out and get one. Right? The reason I fight for you, not only because I'm a veteran, but because of love. I love this country, but more important than that, I love Elizabeth. And my God, they are not going to inject her over my dead body where they put in the vaccine of my daughter. Hear me now, media. Hear me now, Joe Biden. You will not touch me or my daughter or my other daughter or my son. The love of a mother makes me do what I do. We have been through the trials of having a vaccine injury. We know what she's been through. Come and give it. Come and give it to us. And you see what happens. Biden administration. I want all of you, I want my colleagues to have the guts of a mother of a vaccine injured child to say, no, we will protect our kids, our grandparents, you know, each other. You are not going to do this if we don't want you to. Now, if you want to take the vaccine, if you have taken the vaccine, I do not condemn you. This has been a really scary time. This has been a frightening time. We have turned on each other. They have effectively divided this country right down the middle. And where did that come from? That came from China. China has done this to all of our countrymen, all of us, even those that we disagree with politically. This has been put onto us. Now, there are some in this country that I believe funded that. We need to turn our focus off of each other and onto accountability for those who put this upon us. Right? Enough of the fighting, enough of the division. But mind you, to the other side, you will not force us into this. We will preserve our freedoms. We will peacefully protect our rights. And we will not comply. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you guys for everything you've done. He wants me to tell you guys what we're going to do. Well, I can tell you what we've done so far.
Flip the vote.
Decertified.
So we had a 1487 is a complaint to the Attorney General on the city of Tucson, right? City of Tucson was forcing their will against the law, saying, well, we don't care what the law says, this is what's right, we're going to do it anyway. Holy crap. You know, and so we put in a 1487 which forces the hand of the Attorney General to, he has to go down and he has to investigate, and he found that they were in violation. So that's one of the things that we've done. I've done many things alongside of others. We're working on this, but I got to tell you, last year's governor compared to this year's governor is different.
Yes.
It's different, and I got to hand it to him. He has adjusted his rhetoric. He has adjusted his decisions, and he has decided to come out for freedom. So as much as I'm disappointed in him last year, I'm very encouraged in him for this year. For whatever reason, I will support him if he defends our freedoms. And what he has done so far, when we were going through the budget process, I said you need to end the emergency. That's one of my things that I wish you would do, is end the emergency. So he did rescind many of his executive orders, but he said, I want to wait until September 29th until bills go into effect so that Tucson and Phoenix and other cities don't create their own new emergency, because those bills go into effect that prevent them from doing that. So we'll see if he holds true to his word that my request for him to end the emergency will happen. And I trust and believe that it will. We shook on it, with his chief of staff. And if he's keeping his word, and so far he has, then I believe that he would be amenable to having a special session for both the results of the audit and this issue. I do believe that he will, and I'm going to go on record and say, even though people get mad at me for believing in him because they're still mad about last year, I am going to put my hope in the fact that he will do this, because it's important for our state, and he is taking action to show us that he may very well call a special session. Now, has he told me that personally? No, he hasn't, but I'm crossing my fingers, and what we all need to do is the same thing we've been doing. Put the pressure on. Now, in that regard, last year, I think it was November 5th, I asked somebody in leadership in the House, we need to have an audit. We need to have a special, I was chair of the elections committee, and I said I want a special committee hearing so we can bring Fontes in front of us, get him on record, and start an audit proceeding. And I was told, no, that's not appropriate, Townsend. That's not a good idea. And so you guys and myself and a couple others, Paul Gosar was out there with me, we started ramping up the rhetoric, didn't we? And daily it got louder and louder and louder until they couldn't ignore us anymore. And they had to do the audit. And you're going to have to repeat that this year when it comes to the special session. Got to do it. Put the pressure on. The power is in you. The power wasn't in me. They didn't listen to me, So it's one thing for me to say it, but I need you guys. Like I said in the beginning, it's not me over you. It's you guys are in charge. So make your voices heard. We the people get it done.
Thank you, Senator Townsend. Thank you. Our next speaker we have is Tracy Martin, Immersive Transformation Life Coach. Tracy works with Gen Z, young adults, and their families. She is committed to creating an environment for growth to equip our children and our families to be successful in life and to navigate the landscape of today's climate. Please help me welcome Tracy.
Well, it looks like they've gone and done it. They woke up the mamas. How many parents do we have in this crowd? How many parents 7 and under? Age? 8 to 15. 17 and older. Do you want to know why I'm asking you? Each one of you will have to address a different mental health issue because of what is happening to your children today, right here, right now. I am not going to politicize this conversation, but I will humanize this conversation with you, because you have got to understand, today is your day. You can decide to be uncomfortable. I could care less about your excuses, because I work with your kids. I coach more than 100 kids in this valley, and I can tell you right now, what they are struggling with will show up when they become an adult. Why do you think we have corrupt leaders? Why do you think we have people that don't give a damn about your rights, your freedoms, your medical freedoms, your body autonomy? Why do you think that is? They've taken their role of leadership and they've taken the power, and they believe that they are better than you. They believe that they know better than you, and they believe that they know what's better for your children as well. Well, last I checked, I know what's best for my kid. And I do have a daughter who was vaccine injured 18 years ago. And I can tell you right now, what Kelly said is damn true. You do not want to mess with a parent of a vaccine injured child.
Beware, Mama!
Beware, baby. Because we will go to the full lengths of whatever it takes. Because my MOM trumps your PhD, your whole entire label that you put on your life. It will trump any label that you have. Trust me. I will stand what is coming in between my kid and your kid. It is a privilege what I get to do as a coach in this valley. I work with children, Gen Zs, young adults, families, you name it. We have never been here before. Let's pray to God we never get back here. But guess what? How uncomfortable are you willing to be? How uncomfortable are you willing to be to make choices with your money? You got to get a vaccine to travel. Well, welcome to America. Let's stay here and visit our own America.
Yes! Yes!
I don't need to see the world. I need to see my child's future.
Amen.
Because I think what you're not realizing right now is your world is changing right before your very eyes. It's a very slippery slope, let me tell you. Very slippery slope. You know, we start out with a conversation that children have anxiety. Where does it come from? Fear, depression, suicide is killing our children at a higher rate than COVID. School boards don't care. Have you seen the Emmys? Have you seen the Met Galas? Have you seen there's no masks? Then why in the hell do you send your kid to school with a mask on? Why aren't you standing in between what's coming after your children? Let me ask you a really quick question. If there was a train coming after your kid, what would you do? Anybody. Jump in front of it. Pull them out of the way, right? Well, guess what? There's a train coming right for your kids. They want their future. You know why? It's a psychological warfare right now. No bullets have flown, but lives are changing. Lives are being taken, futures, innocence, everything is being taken away from your kids. Are you going to stand by? No. You know, I have parents that hire me for so many different reasons, and God bless me with this position in life to be in service to these groups of people, to their families and their children. And I can tell you right now, they may not be my kid by blood, but they are my kids too. You know, mama lionesses are the only ones who will take an entire pack of somebody else's cubs. Guess what? I'll take it. And I know there's a lot of other mamas in here that will too. Because when you awaken that particular heart of a mom, of a warrior, yeah, you don't want to do that. And the reason why is because we won't stop at anything. Speaking at the school board, every single one of you guys can do that. Have one conversation with somebody and you've just told 3 to 4 people because they're going to go and spread that news. Don't just share stuff on social media. Be face to face. Make a difference. Make an impact.
Yes.
You guys, we all have a sphere of influence. Do you believe that?
Yes.
So as a coach, I am not an easy coach to work with. I can tell you right now because I take your life and your children's life and your futures very seriously. Because I've seen the damage. And I am very tired of adults saying children are very resilient. They'll get through this. They're okay. Well, if that in fact was true, why do we have childhood trauma showing up in adults every day? That's never been addressed. Our face has 45 expressions on it. Do you know babies and toddlers cannot bond with an expressionless face? They can't. Do you know what basically how we're shifting our entire generation of young people? They have no skills. No life skills, no coping skills, no communication skills. And it's funny when they say, well, you know, the adults are in charge. That scares the hell out of me. Because I have 18-year-old men who would make better leaders than who we have today. I can tell you that much right now. They have more character, more integrity, and more heart than anyone sitting in a freaking White House or a Congress. And they are strong and bold. So I encourage you as parents. Someone hired me the other day to say, my kid's really, really bold and he's really strong in his voice. And, you know, I just want to talk to you about how do we work with this? And I kind of laughed. I said, why? Are they making you uncomfortable as a parent because they're speaking out on their own behalf? And she said, yes, you know, I just don't want them to rock the boat. I go, you know what? You are so right. Tip the sucker over. Because that is what we have to do today. We have to understand today is now. And if you are not willing to take action, then you need to get out of the way from those that are. Because our kids' future is too important. They're demoralized, hypersexualized, pornography is rampant, their mind is not their own, the mind is the battlefield, and that's our future, you guys. That's our future. I don't care what you do. I care about who you are while you're doing it. Because that means there's integrity back into leadership. You know, how many parents here, and I get it, we all complain about younger generations. First of all, we attacked millennials. Now we're attacking Gen Z. Then we're going to go after Gen Z Alpha. But I have one question. Who's leading them? parenting them? Who is the adults here? Last time I checked, it was us. Fix yourself first, get your mind right first, level it up with faith, get God back into your life, prayer every night, whatever it takes to ground you. Your kids are battling evil every single day that they show up to school. Do you know who's teaching your kids?
Homeschool, bring back homeschool.
1,000%. I homeschooled for 3 years. It's not easy, and I am not smarter than a 5th grader, trust me. If I can do it, you can homeschool your kids, believe me. Please, I implore you to listen to this younger generation. You guys make my heart so happy to see you guys here. You homeschool. And here's the reason why. This generation of Gen Z, you guys can come after them or bash on them all you want, but I can tell you right now, the group that I coach, the group that finds me, the group that listens to me on Instagram, the group that actually we work together, they're done with this. They want their voices heard, but they need parents to pave the way. They need adults to say enough. They need you to go to the school board. They need you to be on the school board. They need you, and if you don't want to do that, homeschool. Whatever it takes, you're going to get uncomfortable. You may not have your latte from Starbucks, and I'm really sorry. So make it at home. You can't go to your favorite restaurant? Have a picnic with your family. There's always an opportunity, you guys, and you have to learn to take it. You have to learn that you're going to be uncomfortable. If you thought in 2021 you were going to have to fight for your freedom, for your medical freedom in America, who thought we'd be here? Nobody. You might have saw it coming if you've been studying it for a while. But to be here right now, today, I have one thing I want to leave you with. As a parent, please hear me. My heart is for your children and your future. And like Kelly said, I will die on this hill. And I'm not kidding, because it's way too important. Listen to one thing, if you take nothing else away from what I've said today. If you are not willing to speak up today and take your religion, take your faith, take your medical, every single thing that makes you human. If you're not willing to speak up today to protect it, you have just disabled your child's future to do the same in their future. I thank you guys. God bless you very much. If I can ever be in service to you, your families, your organizations, please do not hesitate. My heart is for where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy, so much for your voice. I'd next like to welcome Cherie Sapir, conservative candidate for Superintendent of Public Instruction. Cherie is fighting to protect Arizona's children and protect parent rights in Arizona within our school systems. It is an honor to welcome her as we lock arms to ensure Arizona's children are safe at school.
Thank you so much. So how many of you are happy with what's happening in the schools? Yeah, it's pretty tragic. You know, I'm coming here not as the candidate for superintendent, even though I'm looking forward to take out Kathy Hoffman next year with the help of all of you. Yeah, we all know it's long overdue. But this is not about me. It's about us, the parents, who have had enough. Okay, I fought with the district last year for months to open the schools. They didn't. They refused. It didn't matter what I showed them, what data we brought to them. They refused to open the schools. I pulled my kids out and put them in a private school. The best decision I've ever made. And even though I'm running for public instruction is not through government institutions. Public instruction is to give instruction to the children, and they refuse to do that. Our parental control is under attack. In Arizona, we have the Parents' Bill of Rights. It's in statute. We have the right to make medical decisions on behalf of a minor child. They're violating this statute. When they're putting masks on our children's faces, that's a medical device. If we say we don't want our children to have that, we have that right. But they don't let us choose. And they're defying the law that hopefully is going to go into effect next week. But this law is being challenged right now in court, but not other than ASBA, the Arizona School Board Association, that we are paying with our tax money to fund. So something is wrong with the system. It seems that in every way we look, they're coming after us. And we as parents have to fight for parental control. We have to have elected officials that understand that these are our children, not the government's children, not the state's children. They're undermining our role in the educational experience of our children. They're treating us as the middleman, and we're not. These are our children. And as she mentioned before, we all mama bears and papa bears were poked one time too many. They're taking this too far. We see that Phoenix Union High School right now having this new initiative. I don't know if many of you heard about it. Vax to the Max. Anybody heard about this?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're giving $100 to children if they just prove they have the vaccine. This is soliciting children. Yeah. This is in school. Soliciting children. We sent an email to the Attorney General. We're trying to understand if it's even legal. How can you even do that? I mean, it's pretty easy for a child to just sign, if they even sign some sort of a consent, just to fake the signature of their parents just to get the $100. They're not only indoctrinating our children, they're playing doctor in the schools, and we don't want that. I think it is time for us, and I was in the Israeli military. They always taught us that the drop of the water doesn't penetrate the rock because of its strength, but because of its persistence. This is persistence. This is us now since March 2020 saying no, no, no. Yes, it seems that sometimes we're being defeated, but they did put a law through. And if we continue to do what we're doing, and I'm not about defying government, I'm not about defying the law, we're trying to comply with the law. They're the ones who are defying it. So if we continue to doing what we're doing, we're going to save our children. Because what's happening in the schools right now, forget the indoctrination. I'm not going to even get into this because this is about medical freedom. What they're doing to our children, putting children without masks in the back of the room, who are they to discriminate our children this way? They're sending them to quarantine for extended periods of time. Why? There's no science behind that. The contact tracing is insane. I mean, the variables move so much. No scientist will ever rely on any of the information that they're trying to tell us they're relying on. And a couple of days ago, I was at the governor's office. I was asking them, do you know if when they're marking your children as absent, or are they marking the children as absent when they're sending them to quarantine? Because they want the funding. They won't get the money if they're absent. They didn't know the answer. I called on the governor's office to make sure they find out, because we need to audit this information, I'm sure. And I heard from a few teachers, now they have a different kind of, some initials that they're putting in instead of absentee or instead of absent or present, there's some other initial that they need to put in there instead, probably to get the funding. So we need to know if they're double dipping, they're sending our children home for no good reason and taking the money. This is the government schools. And all along, private schools, charter schools, open. They were open for business. Why? The science doesn't apply there? The virus doesn't show up in a private school? What happens? They're treating us, they're insulting our intelligence day and night, and we can't stand for this. So next year is a crucial year for all of us. Arizona is amazing. I'm from Israel. I love this country more than anything else. All immigrants that come here, I'm telling you, I have so many friends that are immigrants. This is the beacon of light to the world. We're looking up to America. There is the American dream. They can't kill this dream to our young children. I have 3 young children, 8, 6, and 3. I want them to grow up in the America that I came to. And it's up to each and every one of us to make sure that we're fighting for the freedoms and the liberties that we were given by the Creator. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheree, and good luck. We are rooting for you. The next speaker that I would like to welcome is one of Arizona's candidates for governor, Matt Salmon. Matt is another strong voice for the people, approachable, attentive, and a conservative fighter for Arizona. Matt stands to protect our state and our values. We feel privileged to have Matt in attendance and honored to introduce him as a speaker. Matt.
Hey, everybody. I am so glad it's not 110 degrees. Nice. Hey, I want to start it off with some words. And it's some really, really important words that none of us should ever forget. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator, God above, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those men that signed the Declaration of Independence, they knew that if King George got a hold of them, he was going to hang them by the neck until dead. They knew that they were risking everything that they had, their life, their liberty, their lands, their families, everything for the concept of freedom. And what about freedom doesn't the federal government understand? Every one of those congressmen, I know because I used to be one, they raise their hand to the square and they say, I pledge to defend this Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, guess what? This is right there in D.C. This is the enemy. And they're doing everything that they can to try to take away our freedoms. And I want you to know something. The concept of freedom is worth fighting for, but it's also worth living for. And I want you all to know that this is something I'm willing to defend with every fiber of my being. And the federal government, or any government, has no business injecting itself between a doctor and a patient. Medical decisions need to be made between doctors and patients and families. End of story. The federal government should not be sticking its nose in that kind of business. I am proud that our state has filed suit against this unconstitutional mandate for employers over 100. And guess what? We're going to win, because we finally got a Supreme Court, 3 of the appointees nominated by Donald Trump, who are going to stand up for the American people and the Constitution. And they're going to send those people that want to take away our freedom packing. And so, let me tell you what I would like to see us do in Arizona. That's a good question. In Arizona, we need to go ahead and call a special session. Let's ask the governor to call a special session to enact the things that we just signed. Absolutely. To enact the things that we just signed. But first and foremost, Montana has passed a law that says that if you violate their Constitution, which provides that you cannot discriminate against anybody for their skin color, their religious beliefs, their sex, or their medical situation. And Arizona needs to do the same thing now. Now! So folks, I just want you to know that our best days are yet ahead, but we got to fight for that. And God bless you, God bless America, God bless Arizona. Let's take the fight to them.
Steve has been instrumental in protecting the rights of the people across the state of Arizona. He advocates for justice and accountability. Steve is an instrument for change, and we are so grateful to have had him in assisting with circulating our petition. Please welcome Steve Daniels.
Thank you. So I got involved, or re-involved more in politics a few years ago with Purple for Parents when Red for Ed formed. And Purple for Parents was a response to the Marxist union-led movement known as Red for Ed. And we saw that what they were doing. I knew what they were doing because if they take the kids, they're going to take your country. And at this point, they've done it. We don't have a federal government anymore. I consider us post-constitutional. So at this point, based on the 10th Amendment and state sovereignty, we have to take back the power that we have delegated to the federal government and reserve it for our state. So I hear a ton of candidates' speeches about what they're going to do once they're in office. Again, what are you doing now? Because when Daniel McCarthy, who he'll speak later, he ran his Senate campaign last year, or the last 2 years, and when they tried to pass unconstitutional red flag gun laws in this state, he put his Senate candidacy aside and he just went to work for the people. And he stopped red flag gun laws in this state. And then not even a year later, they passed HB 2111, which made any federal law as it relates to the Second Amendment unenforceable in Arizona, so long as it's unconstitutional. So again, that's activist-based candidacy, which is what we're looking for out of the people that want to work for us. These are our employees. We don't work for them. They are not heroes to us. They are our employees. We have to stop with the hero worship. We have to stop with putting them up on a pedestal. Stop taking pictures with them. Like, they're literally interviewing for a job. And when I hire people, I want to see how they're going to do the job before I hire them. So that's why we're here today, because this is about the people. And I appreciate everyone that signed it so far. Matt Salmon, Sherry Sapir. I believe Kelly, if she hasn't, is going to sign it. Waiting on Carrie Lake later. But the bottom line is they have to go to work for us. And we're not going to allow our state to become a communist state. And the way that we're going to do that is we have to demand that the governor who sits up there in that building thinking that he's a king, ruling by fiat for the last 18 months almost, he has to, first of all, as Kelly mentioned, stop this state of emergency, end it immediately. As of the 29th, apparently he's committed to that. But he has to call a special session immediately to address both the medical freedom of every Arizonan. That's right. Actions speak louder than words. Thank you. All I hear is talking points. Talking points. That's all we hear. We never see action. So he has to end the state of emergency, call the special session to address medical freedom, and then number 2, but really should be number 1, which is election integrity. Because right now, we do not have fair representation because we're not fairly electing our leaders. A part of being a constitutional republic is having free and fair elections. If you can't have confidence in your elections, then you don't have a constitutional republic. And in our state, we know that there's been fraud. We didn't need an audit to show us that. But what they've done is they've turned this audit into the biggest grift I've ever seen in my life. For the since February, March, all we've heard about is audit, audit, audit. Instead of, let's hold our legislators accountable to passing laws to secure our elections in 2022.
Yes! Yes!
Because if we don't secure our elections prior to 2022, we're going to end up with a Democrat-controlled legislature, and we're going to end up with a Democrat governor by the name of Marco Lopez. Many of you probably don't know his name. He's an open borders, leftist, cartel-controlled asset. And the Ducey/McCain Democrat establishment of the Republican Party, make no mistake, they are Democrats. They are not Republicans. The people running the Republican Party are not for you. They are going to help him. They are going to help him get elected. We've known this for over a year. So unless we secure our elections, and that's one day, one vote, on paper, no machines, and precinct polling. We must do that to secure our elections for 2022. And if anyone is oppositional to that, I consider them to be a traitor. And those are strong words, but that's where we're at this point. We are looking for every peaceable and political option possible. That's all we're here for. We want them to do their jobs over there, both in the Senate and the House, pass the legislation. We don't need to hear the excuses that they don't have the votes. They just need to put the legislation forward, and we, the people, will put the pressure on the ones that aren't on board. So I thank everyone for coming out. We're gonna have a wrap up after the last speakers as far as what we're gonna do action-based today, because this isn't, we can't just come out here and stand and listen to people talk and hold, wave flags, hold signs. It's all great. Thank you for getting off the couch. That's more than most people will do. But we've got to become activists if we're going to take our state back. And that involves, me personally, going to school boards.
Yes.
Standing up against these tyrannical governments. Potentially being arrested for doing it. It happens, but that's where we're at this point in this country, where your rights are not being recognized. So I thank everyone for your time, and we'll look forward to the next speaker.
Thank you so much. a long-time champion and fighter for medical freedom. Irene has done incredible things, both for the state of Arizona as well as on a national level when it comes to medical freedom. Her work in and with the legislator goes far beyond what she is given credit for. We are so grateful for the work that she has done in our state. Please help me welcome Irene.
Right on. I'm short, so I wanted to see the people all the way in the back. And can you hear me back there? Right on. Yes. What a crowd. I want to get a gist of who's here right now. How many of the people in the audience were here at the rally that was held across the street in 2019? Hands up and let me hear you. Right on. So you saw it coming. I imagine that all of you that participated in 2019 with the bills that we were trying to put through the legislature, affirming informed consent, which does not exist in the state of Arizona, and I will explain to you why it does not exist beyond what we're talking about now today. On that day, I also asked for the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, the EMTs, all of the personnel out there in the professional world to find your voice and start speaking up against the manslaughter that is the vaccine agenda on our children. How many of you heard me that day and brought a friend today? I want to know. All right, we got to grow, people. We got to grow. We, the people, needs to be 3 times the size of this plaza. I want you all to look up at what's happening in Australia. Look up the hashtag. Hashtag Australia has fallen.
Yes.
That can happen in this fine country, of which I am a firstborn generation of Cuban parents who left a communist nation. I'm telling you right now, the writing was on the wall 5 years ago, and the parents of vaccine-injured children were being ostracized, shamed, bullied, condemned, and done everything that you're experiencing now as a professional, saying, not me, I don't want it. The answer is no. Thank you, Nancy Reagan. Just say no. But here's a fact, Jack. If you're not involved, it ain't happening. I can stand up here with my pretty yellow shirt and remind you of that, but when you go home, you need to take action. But I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to give you action right now. So how many of you like going to indoor venues in the state of Arizona, places like the Crescent Ballroom and the Rumba Room and the Rebel Lounge? The Rebel Lounge, go figure, a name like that?
Yeah.
So sometime in August, ABC 15 reported that Lucky Man Productions had decided that across the state, all their venues were going to require proof of vaccination or a negative test. You're about to become an activist. I want you to write down this number, and if I don't want you to call now because you're going to hear all the great things I'm going to share with you, but I want you to put this number in your phone and get this name and get this email. And the moment you have a second to follow through, make a phone call and be nice. I'm not saying we need to be pushovers, but hell, if we're going to try to get people to understand our point of view, telling them F you and any other way of saying no, not me, is not going to get them to actually listen to the argument. We need people to listen when we speak, and we need people to stop being silent. Okay, so we have the owner. His phone number, his name is Tom LaPana. His phone number is 480-829-0727. The general manager for all of these venues, and there's about 30 across the state, including in Tucson and Flagstaff, the Orpheum Theater being one of them, is 480-829-0727. Tom can be also emailed at tom@luckymanonline.com. The general manager is Tracy Henderson. Tracy@luckymanonline.com is her email. CC them both. Let them be on the same page. Her number is 480-829-0607. All right, I'm going to start talking really fast because I want to give you a lot of information. Everybody in here has an opportunity to change the path of Arizona. And yes, we have a lot to do with the politics, but we also have a lot to do with having the wherewithal to understand that the data they're pushing on us does not support the narrative. You got to understand how to defend the narrative, because it's an absolute, pardon my French, cover the kids' ears, mindfuck psyop that's taking place in this nation.
Yes.
And I saw it coming because I was paying attention to what was happening in the rest of the globe, where they use other countries as experimental nations to follow through with what they're planning in our country. And if we're not active, we're not doing. So just as an example, Ducey has just hired Dr. Carmona. Raise your hand if you know who this is or what this is. All right. So Dr. Carmona was a 17th Surgeon General in 2002. He is out of U of A, and he has been hired at $400 per hour to come up with a new program, a new campaign to get the 35 to 50% of the population in Arizona that is saying no to say yes. The campaign is about to get a lot thicker, which means your responsibility and duty is to speak louder. I don't want to hear people say, I don't know what to say, and I don't know where to go, and I don't know what to do. Everybody that stood up here that's not a politician, I don't know their storyline, once didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I just decided to start talking about it, and talking about it to anybody that would listen. And the people that would listen started to align with me, and before you knew it, I'm the state director for the National Vaccine Information Center. And part of what promoted me to do that, and it's a volunteer position, I'm not getting paid. I'm not like the lobbyist of ARMA that's receiving money, or all of the other lobbyists that come into these halls and try to get and convince their legislators to defend product over people. How much time I got? Who's got my timer? I'm good. Okay. The Department of Health Services has, I want to give you the right number so you can look this up yourself because it's quite appalling. So the way that it works for agencies is that there are laws put in place, and then the agencies periodically get to establish their administrative rules. And these are the rules by the agency for you to abide by the law, right? And it happens every 5 years for the Department of Health Services. And they kind of go real swiftly, and it's the governor's office that approves it. So in 2018 was the last time it happened. You better be prepared in 2023 because they're going to do everything they can to put the COVID-19 vaccine in childhood schedule. We're going to overthrow the possibility of that in other ways between now and 2023, but it's in the making, I assure you. What's also been accomplished is if you go to administrative rules, you can look it up. Just do administrative rules Arizona. And you go to page, or you go to rule R9-6-703. Okay, section 9, 6-703. What that lays out is the protocol that somebody who administers a vaccine has to follow. And it is absolutely disgusting that the way that it's laid out, and this is already practice, is that a parent will sign a document first saying they've received all the information. They tell them in section C the risks of the disease, the risks of the vaccine, and the benefits. How many of you have ever received this information when you've taken a child to get a vaccination? How many of you have ever sat with a physician or a nurse practitioner and heard that this potentially could have a risk? All right, so after you sign that paper and after they administer the vaccine, then you receive a written statement saying you have authorized this vaccination, and here are the potential adverse events that may require hospitalization. After you sign the freaking paper. To me, that is appalling. This is the way the rules are set up, and we need to fight the next time there's administrative rules to change that design. So a parent is receiving full informed consent. That was one of the bills that in 2019, Doug Ducey said, Arizona is a anti-measles, pro-vaccine state, and if this bill passes, if these bills make it to my desk, I will veto it. He, along with other currently seated representatives, poo-pooed the idea that a parent has the right to know what adverse event could be happening to their child when they receive this medical product. So there is no liability and there is no responsibility. And to me, that is absolutely contentious to a free, absolutely God-loving nation. So I want today to see all the hands that are going to raise when I say, I, as of today, am committing to be an activist in the state of Arizona, even if that means speaking to the 3 people that are my neighbors, the 4 people that are my students, classmates. Every single one of you needs to be involved politically, however that is, in your neighborhood, however that is, and with your families, however that is. You are now bestowed the responsibility to be the next me. I want to see you up here next time we have a rally, which will be a rally of victory. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Irene, and I hope that each of you takes that calling responsibly and takes that calling seriously, because if not, we're gonna be in for a lot of trouble. Our next speaker is one of Arizona's candidates for governor, a fighter for freedom, and a voice for the people. Since her announcement to run for governor, she has attended and promoted multiple medical freedom initiatives, supporting conservative values. I have had the privilege and the honor to hear her speak and introduce her for a second time in the medical freedom world, Ms. Carrie Lake.
Oh my gosh, should I get up here or stand down here? Steve, I'll take, you know what, let me tell you something. We have agitators. I appreciate what Steve's doing, and I'm happy to take a look at that. I'm happy to take a look at that, but you know, I want you to know, as governor, I just don't grab things and sign them when I'm speaking. That's irresponsible. So I am happy to talk to you. I am so thrilled that all of us are here today. Here, let me have it, Steve. Thank you. I'll take a look at it when I'm done. When I'm done, as a governor, I want you to know that I won't be bullied into signing things. So I'm happy to look at what he's saying. Let me tell you, I'm so thrilled that we are all. I have not seen this. This is the first time I'm seeing this, guys.
Hey, wait, everybody hold on. Come on now. You said you were not going to be disruptive. Right now, somebody has the microphone to speak. There's 10 minutes, and that respect is bestowed on every speaker.
This is about the people. This is about the people.
I'm not afraid of those guys. I'm not afraid.
Let her speak. 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 Let her speak.
Steve, I'm not saying I won't sign this, but do you really want a governor? Do you want a governor in this state who somebody stands up and says, sign this, and they do? I need to read it. Buddy, I need to read it. Get the hell out. Listen. We know that we need to hold them accountable, okay? We know we need to hold them accountable. Listen, we know that they need to be held accountable. I am not going to stand for this. We have made a lot of effort. People have came out. We have 10 minutes allotted. Allow her to speak, just like every other speaker.
Everybody here was given the time, and we were respectful of every person speaking. It is now her opportunity to speak. Let her speak. She has 10 minutes. We don't need agitators. You told us you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do this. Stop. She will look at it. We have her word. Carrie, please.
Okay, and these guys want to get on the ballot, and they want a Democrat to win, because that's what they'll do. When they get on the ballot, They're going to be disruptors, and they want a Democrat to win. They like to complain about the Republicans. They never, ever go after the Democrats. I'm starting to wonder who's funding these people. Who is funding these people? Who's funding them? So let me tell you why I'm running, because we need an outsider who is willing to take on the swamp. We absolutely do. So many of you have reached out to me. So many of you have said, what do I do? I'm risking losing my job. This is actually comical. These people want to run the state. They don't even make their bed in the morning. And they want to run the state. So I'm happy to wait here all day, Steve, if you want to stand there like an idiot. If you want to stand there, I'm happy to wait all day, buddy.
One day, one vote on paper.
Do you guys want Steve to speak, or do you want me to speak? Do I governor who, when an agitator walks up and says, sign this, they sign it? No! Or do you want a governor who puts thought into things? I'm not saying I won't sign that. I'm just saying I'd like to read it before I sign it. Too many BS laws come out of those buildings right there because people aren't reading what they're signing. I have not read it. Steve, step aside, buddy. You look like a fool right now. I'm sorry. I'm so impressed that we're all here today. We have our First Amendment, and we still have a few rights. Not many, but we still have a few. And we're here peacefully assembling because we're tired of our government. We're tired of our government pushing all these draconian laws on us. They're not even laws, they're mandates. And on this very piece of land where we stand as peaceful Americans demanding our rights back, we have a bunch of crooked politicians over there. These are the guys who helped to steal the election. And we're going to find out. This is our Lexington Concord moment today. Because we wouldn't be standing here watching our rights being pulled away if the election was fair and if the real winner was announced on November 3rd. The election and our medical freedom go hand in hand. They absolutely go hand in hand. We're going to find out today that we were lied to on November 3rd. We already know that. And the reason it matters is because if Donald Trump were in office, we would not be here today because we wouldn't have these bullshit laws pushed on us. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think any of these other candidates running for governor, do you believe any of these other candidates running for governor, when we find out there was fraud, and when we find out there were criminals involved in our election, do you think that they will ever prosecute them? They won't. Because they are buddies with these criminals over here. As your governor, we will prosecute everybody involved in our election fraud. I will stand behind you. We will push back on any of these mandates that are taking away our rights, our basic rights to earn a living, and our basic rights to breathe. And don't pay attention to these people because they're so desperate for attention. They know that many of you want to hear me speak, so they have to cause commotion. It's like a child. Who's got a child who acts up when they want attention? If you're a mom, you know what I'm talking about. You get the temper tantrum when they want attention. And that's what we see here. And let me tell you, these disruptors want to get on the ballot and they want a Democrat to win. I promise you that is their motive. Trust me on that. That is their motive. Yes, it is.
Sign the paper. 1 day, 1 vote. On paper, no machines. Not rocket science.
I love it when I get questions in the middle of a speech. I will talk to you right after that, and your son is adorable. I'm sorry about the disruption. When you are the front runner, a lot of times people will try to jump on you and cause commotion. I'm here to support you. I know what it's like to not have a paycheck, to walk away or lose a job. In your case, I walked away from a job because it was immoral and it didn't match with my principles. So I know what it's like to walk away from a job, walk away from a paycheck, and be in the unknown. But God has our back. God will reward us for doing the right thing. I truly believe that. I'm with you. I'm standing with you all along, right up until I'm on the 9th floor, and we will end this BS, and we'll get our freedoms back. Thank you, Arizona. Now, I want to warn you guys, don't let these maniacs, I think they're mentally ill.
Excuse me, everybody needs to take a step back. Back up, please. Everybody needs to take a step back. Marty, please have these people, I need them back. Okay, we are giving each person 10 minutes to speak, okay? Respectfully, if you are a respectful human being, you will respect other person's viewpoints, other person's opinions. This is a free country. We are here advocating for freedom, yet the same people are telling other people that they can't speak and shutting them down. So, we have another speaker lined up. I would love some respectful space in between, if you guys would not mind. And we are going to continue with our speaker lineup as planned. I am so sorry for the disruption, but unfortunately, you cannot control the other people. You can't control actions of other people at a public event. So we're just going to do our best, get this wrapped up. We have one speaker left. Our last speaker for the, nobody wants to hear from Brian. No. Our last speaker for this event is an absolute defender of the Constitution. Brian, excuse me now. Can you back up? Brian, you can speak. Can I have you speak? Back up. The mic is open. Tommy owns the fire truck, fireupfreedom.com, and we will open the mic after our last speaker. But if you guys would please respect the speakers that we have lined up first, Brian, would that be okay? You're right. I just said it is a free country, and any person who would like to speak is open to the mic as long as Tony's okay with it. This is his system. This is his truck. So if we can just respect each person that are here and respectfully give people space, Brian, please. Okay? Thank you.
Won't anybody think with all the influx of illegal immigrants coming in that we'll have the right to vote?
Our last speaker for this event is an absolute defender of the Constitution. He is a conservative voice, fighting for freedoms and injustices courageously and fearlessly. He believes strongly in our republic and in our Constitution. He is a strong supporter of the Second Amendment rights and enforcement of all of our laws. He is determined to protect the rights and freedoms of the people whom he serves. Please help me in welcoming Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb.
Thank you. Listen, I come in peace. You guys, relax. All right? I gotta tell you, I'm a little disappointed in the behavior I just saw. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Look, I'm not running for office, so I don't care. You can have everybody up here speak. I'm all for, I'll stand for everybody. What do you think these people want us to do right now? They want us to fight each other, folks. All right, let's just take a step back and let's listen to people. The only way we're going to ever be able to fix this is by listening. All right? So, all right? I don't even know what I was going to talk about because you guys got me all thrown off. Freedom is definitely part of what I'm going to talk about. I get that question a lot. I got to tell you guys, I don't have a desire to run for any other office. I'm sorry to disappoint any of you. I love being sheriff. And thank you. Before I get going, no, I like Pinal too. Okay, before I get going, I want everybody, please, put your hands together for all the men and women that put the badge on every day. And I want even more applause for this next thing. And hopefully in Washington they hear this. Put your hands together for Border Patrol and ICE. Every day I think I can't be more disgusted and more shamed by the people who are currently occupying the White House and in Washington. But when they turn their backs on our Border Patrol, who are doing their job, protecting our communities from people we don't know who they are, from protecting our communities from human trafficking, drug trafficking, only to turn their backs on them was shameful. And on those horses, right? The horses are just doing their job, and they did it in an effective manner. I'm going to share a quote from you guys. I want to give you a couple reading assignments. If you heard me speak, you'll hear me tell this. When you go home, I want you to read Lincoln's Lyceum Address of 1838. All right? The next thing I want to quote from. How many of you guys, and this is going to lead into what I want to talk about medical freedom. How many of you have read Thomas Paine's Common Sense? Not so common anymore, right? If you haven't read it, go read it. But Thomas Paine is also famous for something else. He wrote something called the American Crisis. They knew that when they were going to separate, when they were taking a stand against the British government, they knew how hard it would be. And so Thomas Paine wrote a series of pamphlets called The American Crisis. And in one of those he says, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from the service of his country. But he who stands it now deserves love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. I have no doubt that as Americans and as the Constitution and freedom, that we will prevail." And that's pretty weak, guys. We will prevail. We will not prevail by bickering and fighting with each other. We got to get our shit together. That's what it's going to take. These reporters sitting out here, they loved you guys fighting just now. Honestly, we should be a little bit embarrassed. And I'm not siding with anybody. We should be embarrassed by the way we just acted. That's a left thing. That's a radical thing that they do.
That's why we're in the statewide, because Republicans don't have fucking balls. Yeah, that's why we're literally
Come on. Here we go. Here we go. All right, guys. I want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about, obviously, freedom. All right? Who here loves the Constitution? I always believe that it's not a fight until you meet resistance. Anybody can punch a heavy bag. Anybody can roll around on a jiu-jitsu mat. But until you meet resistance, you never know what kind of person you are. Yes. What kind of fighter you are. We're going to find out what kind of patriots all you are. We're going to find how many people love freedom enough to die for it. I want to say something. This is a tough time, guys. I've met nurses here, police officers. Some of your employers are going to require the mandate. Freedom is not free. Our founding fathers sacrificed greatly to give us the freedoms we have. Some of you are going to lose jobs. Some of you, it's going to take money. Some of you are going to lose friends. You're going to lose family. This is the cost of freedom. And I want you to self-reflect on each and every one of you. How much do you love freedom and how much do you love America? How much resistance do you have? I said a video early on, I said, I will never mandate a vaccine in my county for my employees. When I went on and was interviewed, I was asked by the media, well, this is a bold stance, and I was like, how is this a bold stance? This is a common sense issue. I don't get involved in people's medical choices and medical freedom. I just was interviewed with ABC 15. I don't know what they'll put on there tonight. But one of the things they asked me is, they said, well, vaccines have been around for a long time. Your kids had to give them to go to school. And I stopped her and I said, that's not true. You have the right to opt out of it as a parent. They're trying to take away our right to opt out of it as Americans for something, we all know, we're all here for the same reason. But I'm committed as an elected official, as a sheriff. I signed that paper. You know why? Because I'm committed to the Constitution. I'm committed to freedom. I'm committed to fighting for your rights as Americans. And I'm asking you today to come together as Americans. We cannot fight each other any longer. I also want to thank, I saw the Project Veritas guys here. I don't know where he's at, but Project Veritas has been doing some solid work. Exposing these people that are trying to indoctrinate your children, our children, exposing people that are trying to force vaccines on people and other medical choices. We've all got to stand together. I am grateful to serve as an elected official, and I will continue to call on elected officials to uphold their oath that they took, which is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I've spoken long enough. I want to thank you guys for all the support you give me. I feel it every day. This is not an easy battle to fight, and I thank you I thank you tremendously for all that support. We're going to prevail in this. We will. But it's going to take patriots, and it's going to take God. I'm going to leave you with a scripture. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. All right? This goes for all of us. Wherefore, seeing we are encompassed about by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was placed before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. God bless all of you, and God bless America.
Because he has someone that is wanting to come up, I believe. Is that correct? No. Nobody wants to go. I do. I'm not nobody. Oh, really? That's funny because you wanted to hear me speak when I was in And when I was at the Air Force meeting, motherfuckers! Okay. All right. So at 1 p.m. is when the election results will be heard in the Senate building here. It is open to the public, the first come, first served basis. I believe there will be live televised out here. But I would like to say one more thing. Sheriff Lamb nailed it when he said, please be quiet. Sheriff Lamb nailed it when he said,
still okay. That the left is enjoying this, enjoying us bickering and fighting. I said at the beginning of this event that we are stronger together. We have so many patriots out here, and the fighting, the drama is ridiculous. And we should be ashamed of ourselves. We are not Antifa or BLM or the left. This is beyond ridiculous. Come together. Come together, you guys. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, everybody. I just want to clear up, real quick, guys, I just want to clear up what took place, because there is a misconception of what the agreement was for this crowd today. This is a contract with Arizona. This event was about the people, not about the candidates. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? We're here. We are the people. It's not about stump speeches and hearing talking points. This was presented to all of the speakers, including the candidates, prior to them speaking. It was presented to Carrie Lake in the back. Her team reviewed it. She reviewed it. She declined to sign it. This is a contract with Arizona. I'm going to read it. In light of the unconstitutional federal mandates by the Biden administration, we, the people of Arizona, are instructing Governor Doug Ducey to immediately call an emergency special session by the power vested in the Arizona governor by Article 5, Section 4 of the Arizona Constitution, and for the legislature to pass legislation to protect the interests of Arizonans of the following.
You already spoke, bro. Get off.
Medical freedom, number 1. Health status shall be codified as a protected class in Arizona. Number 2, election integrity. 1 day, 1 vote, no machines, precinct polling. I think we all can agree these are very common sense measures. Why would somebody not want to sign this? Why would they not sign it? And they had the opportunity to review it prior to getting up. So that is what I was explaining to her, is she needs to be with the people and support it. Next, what I want to do is we're going to, again, this is an action-based event. I'm going to have Daniel McCarthy come up and explain what we're going to do to hold our elected accountable. Daniel?
Hey everybody, a lot of you, listen, a lot of you I know really well. We've been doing this now for almost 2 years. How many of you have been coming down here almost, it feels like every other month? Raise your hand, right? Hey, are you guys sick of coming down here every other month to fight for this? I see a lot of tired faces here. I see a lot of people that are sick and tired of being told what people are going to do. Hey, I want to clarify something really quick. What just happened to Steve Daniels there by Carrie Lake is completely inappropriate. Steve Daniels has done more for this state. Hey, I want to tell you something. Steve Daniels has been fighting for this state and for you guys more so than I've ever seen anyone fight. This contract that she wouldn't sign, I'm just going to read this to you. It's quite simple. There's a red tee. It's pretty simple, right? How can you run for governor if elections are fake? Right? How is it that we are now in a position where we have unconstitutional forced vaccine? How many of you are going to take a forced vaccination? How many of you? Okay, who in this crowd is going to take that experimental vaccine? So we have a problem, don't we? We're at an impasse. There's two immovable forces. Guys, you're in a war. This is a cold war. These candidates that you just heard from, they're fake. They're not real. They're here to gaslight you. That's the reality. I don't want to talk about myself. I don't care about, I'm not here for myself. I'm sure Brian can, I'd love for Brian to talk. No, I'm all for Brian talking. This is my conversation, everybody. Though this is what we need to do.
As the organizer, Brian Mache has been extremely disrespectful towards me, and I am not condoning him speaking. You can move. You can. If you want to, that's on you guys. This is about coming together. If you want to hear it, that's fine. Enjoy your rest of your evening and the results.
Okay. No, I totally agree. Listen, Brian and I met, first time we met down here was almost 2 years ago. When they started doing these things, I didn't see any carry, like I didn't see any mass salmon here, right? As we were fighting these mask mandates, as we were fighting these things. But here, we got to talk about, hey guys, please, I'm begging you. We have to talk about action. We have to talk about what to do next. Does everybody agree with that? Does everybody want to know what we need to do next? I can't condone it. I'm here for political solutions. I'm here. Guys, listen, this is what I'm saying to you. Listen to me, trust me. If you have not signed up for the Patriot Party yet, if you're not helping us get the signatures to become a party, I'm telling you, you're making a big mistake. At this point, we need a political party. If we do not form a political party, we are not using every legal option available. So the Republican Party is fake. They work with the Democrats. Everybody agree with that? The same Republicans ushered in this communism the same way the Democrats ushered in this communism. We can talk about it.
That's the problem. It's a two-party system. It doesn't work
voting,
anymore.
hey buddy, voting is not real. Does anybody here believe voting is real at this point? No. I have a couple of young men here that still believe this theater that's being perpetuated on us. Do you guys believe that voting's real at this point? Okay. Guys, they're not going to give you an election. We need a Patriot Party. Steve Daniels, where is he? Where's Steve Daniels? Come up here real quick. Hey, if you have not done so, listen to me. If you really care about action, if you really want to get something done, before you leave here, you can become. Yeah, that's laughable. Listen, if you guys want to do something after this, you need to introduce yourself to Steve Daniels and his team. Anybody that has a Patriot Party shirt, you need to help out with the Patriot Party to become an actual party. Anything less than that is wasting your time, I promise you. There are no other legal options at this point that make sense other than forming a party. Send them all to Gimbo. Yes. If you do not have this has been circulating around. This is what we need from you guys, please. Chase down your state legislators. Anybody that's going into that building for this theater. Guys, the audit results are going to come back and say that Joe Biden won the election. You guys understand that, right? You guys get that, right? They're already saying it. So, what I'm telling you, does everybody know there's fraud? We need to get this signed by every state legislator as soon as possible. So everybody, if you could, get one of these circulars, hold your state legislators accountable, and make sure they sign on this, please. Hey, I love you guys. Thank you guys for continuing to come down here and fight every single time we do this. Steve, here, let me give this to you. Here. All right, everybody, here, I'm going to give this to Brian Mache, okay?
Hey guys, my name is Brian Mache. I am running for governor of Arizona in 2022. I am an operating room nurse. I am a master's prepared nurse practitioner by the National Association of American Nurse Practitioners. Our own state nursing board has refused to issue my nurse practitioner license because of my stance against COVID. I am featured in Alex Jones's documentary, COVID Land, in episode 1 and 2, because I have been the loudest voice as a medical provider in the state of Arizona since day one, saying no vaccines, no mandates, no nothing, to the point where literally I put my own job on the line. I was fired from a place that I worked at because stance. November 1st, they've told me, Brian, if you don't get vaccinated, you're being walked out of the building and you will be fired. I have helped nurses all across this state get their religious exemptions approved. So if you want to get it done, come see me afterwards and I will show you how to do it. I have two friends in gray shirts that say Mache for Governor of Arizona 2022. They'll get you the information you need. I am halfway to the point of my signature total to be on the ballot, okay? And we still have a long way to go, so I will be on the ballot. Let me explain three things that are very simple. This is what we have to do. Since day one, I was at the Capitol the night that everything was stolen. There were only two people that were elected from the government of Arizona that were there with us. That was Dr. Paul Gosar, okay? We all love Paul. And that was State Senator Kelly Townsend. Those were the only two members of government from the state of Arizona that went from the Capitol down to the tabulation center with us, okay? And they were there. We were there for months on end. We saw the steal happen. It's very simple. What these gentlemen said before, I echo that as well. When we were in a meeting last week, I literally got Steve Gaynor and Matt Salmon to both agree to one day, one vote. I don't know. You're right, Michelle. I don't know. Okay? It's very simple. What they said is a solution, sir. Get a Patriot Party. Get a Patriot Party so the Patriot Party can be inside the tabulation room. It's very simple. One day, one vote on paper, no electronic hand count only, voter ID, no mail-in ballots whatsoever unless you're frail, elderly, disabled, or a veteran, okay? Literally, I challenged Steve Gaynor to that. He agreed to it. I challenged Matt Salmon. He agreed to it. I approached Kari Lake. Listen up, Kari Lake fangirls and fanboys. Last Saturday in Queen Creek at the Republican event, I walked up to Miss Lake. I presented her literally the bill that would say one day, one vote on paper, no electronic tabulation, all hand count, voter ID on everything. Miss Lake refused to sign it. Not only did she refuse to sign it, she didn't even want to speak to us about it. When the other adults in the room, Matt Salmon and Steve Gaynor and myself, agreed to it. So that's the only way we ever get a secure election, without a doubt, okay? The first item, though, is the southern border. I was in Yuma last week on Tuesday and on Thursday. I met Border Patrol agents, okay? I got them to tell me the truth. I was in the Air Force, I was in the security forces. My job for 8 years was to actually secure an air base, so it couldn't be taken over. I deployed 3 times to the Middle East. The last time was during Operation Iraqi Freedom. That was literally my job, keeping people outside of a place where they weren't supposed to be. I'm the only one that has an actual point-by-point plan to secure the border. Doug Ducey has been lying this entire time. He's at the border down there with the guard with 6 to 8%. Listen to my words right now very, very clearly. As I take my oath to become the governor of Arizona, the trucks will be running. And when my oath is complete, 100% of the Army and Air National Guard will deploy to the southern border of Arizona. Everyone. Then I will go to the Oath Keepers, the Liberty Guard, the 3%ers, the Good Citizens, the Proud Boys, everyone else, and they will also deploy to the border because we have a Second Amendment for a reason. We're a well-regulated militia for the defense of a free state. If we ever had a reason to utilize the militia, it is now. They will go to DPS and they will get screened. If they cannot pass a background check, or if they have a felony background, or if they can't pass a psych test, they will not deploy. Otherwise, they will deploy and they will fall under the control of the National Guard while they are there. Then we will take the $24 billion that the state has in surplus right now, and we will use that to finish the wall. And people say, listen, Kari Lake, Matt Salmon, they're all going to say, oh, I'm going to secure the wall, I'm going to secure the wall. Where's the plan, guys? here's the plan right here. This is what we do. All right, people say, Brian, you can't do that. That's a federal issue. That's bullshit. Because in the United States, we have dual sovereignty. That means the states have rights and the federal government has rights. When Joe Biden, the illegitimate president, will not secure the border, I will as the governor of Arizona. I will exercise Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution that says this, for the scholars that are out there, only Congress can declare war, except and unless. Except when you are being invaded or when you are facing the threat of an invasion. My friends, I think we are way past the threat of an invasion, correct? How many Gold Star mothers have had to bury their children because they were killed by an illegal immigrant? I'm not declaring war on Mexico, but I am declaring war on human traffickers, narco-terrorists, smugglers, kidnappers, and all of the other invaders. I won't even use the word illegal immigration because it's not illegal immigration. It's an invasion being done on purpose with elements of your own government, elements of your own party are active in this. Because they want 18 million new people to come into the United States and literally register them as Democratic voters. Then we as Republicans never win again, okay? Our own party is working against us. If you don't believe that, you're ignorant. I'm sorry. Ignorant in the sense of uninformed, okay? It's very simple. We take that 24 billion. I can't necessarily patch the holes in the wall that I saw last week, right where the wall is at. What I can do is this. I can back up 5 feet, okay? And I can build those patches in the wall on Arizona property, and I can make the arc of the wall fan up and out, and it can come right up to the existing wall in that empty space without impeding it. And there is nothing that Joe Biden can do to stop me. He can't say no because I tell him, sorry Joe, I'm finishing these holes on Arizona property. I am the governor of Arizona and I have the right to do that, okay? And then if an invader crosses over and comes onto our side of the border and they're on private property, they will be arrested for criminal trespassing private property. We have rules and laws for a reason. That's what I did in the military. I was a cop. My father is a retired police officer. I've been in Arizona my entire life. This is the only point-by-point plan specifically laid out to secure the border. Matt Salmon does not have one. Carrie Lake does not have one. Steve Gaynor does not have one. I am the only candidate with an actual plan that's been written from a military perspective, okay? The border wall will be finished and secured when I'm elected. It's very simple. The third main point, and then I'll finish, is this, all right? COVID-19. As a master's prepared nurse, I am telling you, COVID-19 is complete and utter bullshit. It's very simple. Coronaviruses, there's 7 or 8 different kinds of them. They've been identified since the 70s, all right? This was a literal plan done on purpose, okay, to not only steal the election from Donald John Trump, okay, but also to usher communism into the United States. If you're in medicine, I want you to turn to the person next to you and tell them, guess what? The ICU is always at 90%. There's medical people right here. It's always at 95 or 100%. That's bullshit what the media's been saying. It's always that way. When they say, oh, we need to bring in refrigerated trucks because the morgue is overwhelmed. It's very simple. I worked in the trauma bays in the 3 largest trauma hospitals in the valley. At Abrazo West Valley on Litchfield Road, okay, the morgue has 4 bays. That's it. So when I worked on a Friday night, if there was a car accident and a head-on collision, and there were 2 people in each car, and all 4 of them died, you're shaking your head, you know. You were shaking your head, you know. Guess what? The whole morgue is full! Because there's only 4 spaces in it! So when they said the refrigerated trucks have to be brought in because the morgue is at 90%, that would be as simple as saying, well, 9 of the bays out of the 10 are filled. But yet they've lied to you over and over and over and over again. And the average person that doesn't know these things, that isn't in medicine, doesn't realize that. It's been bullshit from the start. When they put people on vents, they were killing them. They get more money, okay, for putting people on a vent and putting them in the ICU. I've got surgeons and anesthesiologists that I work with every day, and at least 30 to 40% of them, this is our topic all day. This is complete bullshit, it's nonsense, and it's ridiculous. But they are afraid to speak up. I wasn't afraid to speak up. All right? That's why I was featured in Alex Jones's documentary, because I put my license on the line. And I could literally be making twice the money that I am now. I'm not a rich guy running for governor. I make 85 grand a year. That's what nurses make. We're not rich, okay? If I was a nurse practitioner, I'd be making a lot more money, but I can't because they won't give me my license. It's very simple, guys. Every single one of these other candidates are elitists. All of them, okay? They've been in government for years. Matt Salmon's been in government for 40 years. He's made $360,000 a year every year since 2017. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. That's public knowledge because he was a lobbyist for the Confucius Institute at ASU. So that information has to be released. That's $1.75 million in 5 years off of your back. Kimberly Yee has been in government for 20 years in Arizona. She started by going to California and working for Governor Gray Davis, then Governor Schwarzenegger. Then she came back here and got into the state house and the state senate and then became the treasurer. Why didn't she open her mouth the last year and a half when all of this has been going on? People say, oh, Brian, don't give her a hard time. She's just a state treasurer. That's bullshit. She's a state treasurer. She's been counting all the money coming from the federal government since the shutdown started. Okay? She had a platform to stop this, and she didn't. Matt Salmon had a platform to speak up, and he didn't. Sorry, Kari Lake fangirls. She had a platform, the biggest platform of all, and she didn't speak out against it. Why? Why did she wait all these years, okay, to come out and then all of a sudden flip? Why? And then announce that she's running for governor 30 days later? Are you kidding me? How could that not be a setup and a scam? Think about it, guys. Planted on purpose. The same way Doug Ducey was selected and not elected, they're trying to do the same thing right now. And if you're buying that, then you're buying into the bullshit, okay? My father is a retired police officer from Lake Havasu. The single biggest thing that he ever taught me was this. He said, son, integrity is always doing the right thing every time, regardless of anyone is watching you. She had 27 years, and now at the very end, all of a sudden, she's like standing up for the truth? Who believes that? Ivory Heckler, the reporter in Houston, the young girl, she put her career on the line and got fired over it, for real. Okay? When you're in your early 50s, okay, and you've worked somewhere for 27 years, and you and the boss have a disagreement at the end of your career, that's called retirement, okay? That's not called like, I took a stand for anything. That's retirement, guys. Like, seriously. If you're in your early 50s, you know that. It's very simple, guys. I'm the only one with an actual plan to secure the border. I'm the only one that's a veteran. I'm the only one that's a healthcare provider that's in the race. I've been speaking out since day one. Those that know, I've been there literally since day one. So Josh Barnett started the affidavit movement along with David Jose, okay? When we had all these protests, my supporters were the ones that were out here in the crowd getting those filled out. So then when Rudy Giuliani took them to the Senate hearing and he put his hand on top of it and he said this is actual evidence of what took place, that was these people. That was people in the Patriot Party that did that. That was people that I was with that did that. That was the grassroots conservative people that got those affidavits filled out. The only reason we even had an audit was because of that, okay? Like, you guys have to realize, these people that are up there now have not been involved in any of this bullshit from the beginning. We are the only ones that have. No one is coming to save us at all right? I'll sign it right here, of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I signed this at LD9 when I spoke at LD9 in Tucson. But it's very simple, guys. Everyone needs to sign this. It's literally the contract with Arizona. In light of the unconstitutional federal mandates by the Biden administration, we, the people of Arizona, instructed Governor Doug Ducey to immediately call an emergency special session by the power vested in the Arizona governor by Article 5, Section 4. Guys, this has to be done. It's very, very simple. Carrie Lake refused to sign not only this, but she refused to sign the pledge that I put out at the John Birch meeting, okay? Which was 1 day, 1 vote, on paper, no electronic tabulation. If she wasn't a plant, why would she not sign it, right? It's very simple. And, one more time. She ended up signing, give me 30 seconds, I'm done, and then you can have it. She did wind up signing it. The only other point that I have is this. Find my friends back here with the clipboards. Help me get on the ballot. I'm 50% of the way there. And at least you will have someone that is a constitutional conservative, that is one of you, the people, and not an elitist. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. You guys. Carrie, our people ended up tracking her down, and she got shamed into signing it. So this was the whole point. That's all she needed to do. We would have had no issues. She would have been allowed to speak just fine. Again, this is about the people, and if they're not standing with the people and pledging to stand with the people, then they don't get to operate.
Amen.
That's the bottom line. And I can get shouted down all they want. It does not bother me. I'll do it every day. Because I'm here for you. I'm one of you. Like, I'm not running for office. I don't ever plan to run for office. I hope to never have to run for office. I'm here to solve the problems in Arizona. Our mission statement is restore and maintain constitutional conservative leadership in Arizona. That's it. Bottom line. So thank you for everyone for coming out. We've got another speaker here.
Amen.
Just fine, guys. Nice. Yeah.
Everyone listen up!
Hello. Good job, guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Tumiani Z. My friends call me Z. Hold it closer. Closer, can you hear me? Yes. You know, you haven't seen much of me, have you? I'm not a celebrity, I'm not a politician. I'm a business person. I ran a company and started it here right in Arizona. It's called La Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
You probably see us in Costco, Starbucks. And it was a journey. I learned a lot about business. And as you know, many of you, business is not easy. It has a lot of challenges. But it brought me here today. I see what's happening in our country, which is affecting, polluting our state with the laws that they're imposing on us. And you know what? We have a right to nullify those laws under our Constitution. This is what I think. First of all, we need our freedom. We have a right to do what we want with our body. Think about it. If you have cancer, are they going to push you to get treated? Huh? If you've got the flu, are they going to force you to take the flu shot? You know what? We had 188 children deaths of influenza. 2019, we had approximately 20 deaths of COVID children, but these were children that were also very unhealthy. So where are our numbers to prove that we need to mask and give our children the shots? Parents' rights. Parents' rights. Parents' rights. They can't take that away from us. You know, my first video that was out there on YouTube, someone made a comment and said, she's very soft-spoken. We need someone who has a lot of energy and strength. Someone replied, which I was surprised, did you ever see a lion before the attack? Right? Yeah. Okay? This is what I think. It's going to cover a lot of things. We're getting Biden's administration forcing us on so many issues. Our border.
No, she's going to run for governor. She's going to run for governor.
Our border, our freedom, our health rights. We can nullify all that if our governor took a stand. That's right. Right? Right. This is what I propose. I propose if I was governor today, but you know it can be done today. If governors like DeSantis, Tennessee governors, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, united and went full force, united to push the government back. What message would that give to the people of the United States and the world? That we will not take this communist socialist filtering through our state, or any state. Right? It's power to the people. And you know what? These governors have got to have the guts, because I would have the guts. I would have the guts to get the job done and do what's right for our Arizona. You know what? The audit today, whether the left is right or right, we've got to move on. Next time we're proactive. We should be, when the count is there, enough Republicans and enough Democrats and enough supervisors on the computers. We be proactive. We're always on the defensive.
Well, that's what.
All right, everybody. We are live here at the Capitol in downtown Phoenix. Number of speakers, quite a tremendous crowd. Today also being the audit results. We are Valley Newsbox, live breaking news and events all across the Valley. We appreciate you joining us. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, which after this live most likely we'll have to put it to private due to the fact that there was some weapons shown, and apparently that's against policy. So we do not want to get in trouble for that. However, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, which we're still working on. So in about 5 minutes or less here, we're going to go ahead and end the stream, and we will be back shortly. We're going to get a lunch break. We will be back live, and we're going to hopefully be able to broadcast what's going on with the results of the audit and the report today.